fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Hey, what's up? Underground Geek here. So I got a couple things to talk about here, some very interesting stories, some hot takes. See, I don't understand this, and it's beginning to be more and more that it's women in the industry. Of course, there's men in the industry that do this all the time, but it seems like they're not quite as vocal about stuff a lot of times as the women are, and I think it's just, a general, women just talk more than men. That's just where it goes. But these women, quote-unquote, pros in the industry of comic books can't shut their mouth. They can't. They have to attack the fans. You have to be okay with it, and you can either buy my book or don't, but I'm going to tell you you're a racist bigot. And I'm like, what does that have to do with comic books? I don't really understand this. It doesn't compute. I'm not connecting the dots. Can you draw me a map here, because I'm lost? So we're going to start with Irene Koh. She's done a Batgirl book with the art. She's done Legend of Korra graphic novels for Dark Horse. Legend of Korra was I believe it was that big one where they were talking about all the gay stuff in there, and everybody was freaking out because it's the first gay book ever. It's the best thing ever. There's no gays everywhere. And then, it's bullcrap. But, she's actually a pretty good artist, and she's also not bad to look at. But she's got a terrible personality, and it's a lot like Heather Antos. Heather Antos has a terrible personality, and it flows over to her face, and she makes these expressions that just makes you want to cut your wrists. But so Irene Koh goes on Twitter on a rant now, just a flat-out rant, before blocking everyone that has to do with diversity in comics, or any of those people like that. She posts this pyramid of white supremacy, and see, it's okay because she's an Asian female. She can be racist. It's 2018. It's current year, so she can do what she wants. She posts this tweet. I'm going to read this for you. It's got the picture right here, but it just makes me laugh at the hypocrisy that's going on here. And 3 hours later, she only had 34 likes. So it says, leaving this here, and you better believe what you said is wrong on this ladder. So that's pretty much saying, if you say anything against me, I'm going to report you, try to get you fired at your job, try to get you blocked on Twitter. You are absolutely the worst kind of white person. Oh my God. That is the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life. If you take this out, take out what I'm saying and put black or Hispanic in place of that. You are the worst kind of black person. Oh, you just got demonetized. A hand-wringing liberal whose allyship is performative and whose privilege puts you out of touch with the reality that you're ignoring people of color trying to educate you. What you gonna educate me on? Being racist? I don't need any education on that. I see you right there. You're plain as day. I mean, my gosh. Well, you want to fight the Civil War all over again? Do you remember how that went? The racists lost. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so then she's got this pyramid of white supremacy, and it says over to the side, in a pyramid, every brick depends on the ones below it for support. If the bricks at the bottom are removed, the whole structure comes tumbling down. Is this kindergarten? Are we learning how to put blocks up? Are we playing Jenga? What is this? And at the bottom it says, this is adapted from Ellen Tuzlo and Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence Programs. So it's complete horse manure. That's what you're trying to tell me. But it starts at the top with genocide. That's the worst thing. Mass murder. And then it moves down to violence. Unjust police shootings. Lynching, hate crimes. Is this 1954? Are we still saying the word lynching? And then it goes down to calls for violence, police brutality, neo-Nazis, KKK, the N-word. So the N-word is the same as a neo-Nazi. So if you walk around and you say the N-word, that's the same thing as a neo-Nazi. So that means every black person in North Birmingham, Alabama is a is calling for violence, because every time I go down there and I walk into the gas station, he's like, yo, 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 you know, and then starts flying the N-word there and there, and I'm like very uncomfortable, because I'm like, why are you calling each other that? That doesn't make any sense to me. So then we move on to discrimination, mass incarceration, racial profiling, school to prison pipeline, hiring discrimination, stop and frisk. So we can't stop and frisk people anymore. Oh my God, what am I going to do on my Saturday nights when I can't stop and frisk? Gosh, I know Waltzilla, a friend of mine, he's totally out now. His weekend's shot. It says fearing people of color, redlining. What is redlining? Is that when you're revving your car up too high and it goes past the red mark? Because that's always fun. Don't be trying to take my fun away from me. Racial slurs. So is racial slurs the same as the N-word? Because you've got racial slurs down here in the lower part of discrimination, but the N-word is a call for violence. So does that mean that being discriminatory against a black person is worse than being discriminatory against other peoples of color? So now you're putting levels on people. You're putting black people above Asian people right now, and you're Asian. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Funding schools locally. So you can't fund schools locally? What are you talking about? Predatory lending. So now we've moved into mortgages. Now we're talking about mortgages and discrimination. There is complete laws set up against predatory lending right now in mortgages. I did that job for a little while, and they had just set up a new set of rules that you couldn't do this, couldn't do that. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with going after people that can't pay their bills back. Oh my gosh. Veiled racism has victim blaming, racist jokes, English only initiatives. But it's just funny. It's just funny, guys. I mean, it keeps going. I mean, you can keep going out through here. I won't take up too much time, but you can get to minimization, and it says things like we all belong to the human race. Is that bad? Because that's literally what the SJW say. We're all humans, so don't discriminate. That's literally what they say. Denial of white privilege. There's no such thing as white privilege. It's just the fact that white people from Europe have been at the forefront of a lot of technological advances and civilization advances over the time. I mean, look at Rome, look at England. I mean, I won't go into it. I mean, it's called history. Read a history book. Post-racial society, white savior complex. So right there, they're shooting each other in the foot. She is attacking Mark Wade, Dan Slott, Jordan White, Rich Johnston, all of those who protect people of color, because she's saying it's a white savior complex right there. So why are all these people letting this happen and not saying, whoa, 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 whoa? Because they're scared. They're scared to say anything. Not all white people. Oh my God, that is so racist, Becky. Look at that racism. It's so big and round and out there. But my black friend said that's racist as well. And then it goes all the way down to indifference. It says politics doesn't affect me. Not challenging racist jokes, remaining apolitical. So what you're saying is, if you don't try to start a fight and start screaming at people every time they disagree with you, then you're racist. I'm starting to understand why you're blocking people now. You're like the most terrible person I've ever seen, and I'm never going to buy anything from you ever again. Wow, that is terrible. Oh man. But anyway, so you can tell by her soy face smile right there that there's nothing really appealing about this person's personality that's going on. By the way, I have that Batgirl book behind there, the number 39. I have that book. It's not very good. Just saying. So yeah, so that they don't understand what sales is. And I'm going to get that in a minute with Gail Simone and what she done and how I was attacked for pointing out bad, sales tactics. But that's not how you sell books. That's not how you sell books. You don't go out and say, you're a racist POS. By the way, buy my books or don't. I don't care. That's not how you sell books. You're not the only person working on this book. Oh my God. I mean, John Malin understands it, and that's why you attacked him and called him a Nazi and everything else, because he saw your Nazism. By the way, Nazi is not a cool word anymore. Don't be using the word Nazi. Unless you're watching Saving Private Ryan, don't mention the word Nazi. By the way, that's a good movie. Woo, I like that movie. So anyway, Gail Simone comes out and says, you know, that umbrella guy. That umbrella guy is kind of like me, except he goes after people a little bit more than I do, just because he's better at discussions like that. I usually just, you know, mind my own business, and then people attack me because I have good values. That's what happens most of the time. And you can always tell, because they'll come out and they'll start saying, well, I had this experience this one time, and I had this experience this one time, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but are you in that right now? Well, no, but okay then. Just, I mean, don't respond to me. I don't understand. You made the choice to respond to me and embarrass yourself, and now you're going to pay for it. But anyway, so Gail Simone is talking to the umbrella guy, and immediately has to retweet him, because that's what you do to a fan. That's what you immediately do to a fan when they're talking to you in a disagreement. You need to retweet them and embarrass them, because that always sells a book. You don't need to DM them and ask them, hey, how can I fix this issue, like Scott Snyder did me. Scott Snyder DM'd me asking, you know, talking to me about an issue. That's how you do customer relations. Oh my God, take a business class, Gail Simone. You're like the worst person. And I even defended you today, and then went back and saw this tweet and took that back, because this is just trash. She says, Umbrella Guy says, thanks, Gail. By the way, I liked your repost on alt-right trolls. The part where you were endorsing the removal of someone's opinions when people post that SHIT as concerning trolling. And then it goes on. She says, I'll give you $1 to put together a coherent thought. Bet I get to keep my $1. Oh my God. Does that not sound like the snarky bee that you work with, that works in the back office, that nobody wants to talk to because she's got such a bad attitude all the time, and then constantly takes smoke breaks and you can never find her when you need that paperwork on time? That sounds exactly like that person. And she wonders why nobody likes her. She wonders why she's working on Conan and Wonder Woman right now. Conan and Wonder Woman. Anybody reading that book? Not me. So she says that to him, and I immediately, you know, I start watching the conversation a little bit, and then it gets on my nerves, because she doesn't understand how it's going, and then people start attacking people that are commenting about it, you know. And I said, hey, Rick, I guess they just don't understand how customer relations work. And that set them off. This Neil guy started popping in there out of nowhere, getting upset. He goes, oh, I do. Someone asked for feedback on their product. Do you? That has nothing to do with what I just said. Nothing. Because what was done there was one person offering an unsolicited opinion on another person's character and saying he will not buy her book because of that. He's entitled to do that. It's not customer relations. That's exactly what customer relations is. You had a bad attitude on social media and it costs you a product. That's exactly what customer relations is. If you have a bad attitude, you don't sell. And see, this person is not a salesman. They're in a band. And immediately when I started saying you don't know what sales is, well, how do you know? How do you know? Because you're terrible at it. That's why. That's how I know that you're not in sales. You do not bring up personal opinions when you're in sales. And anybody that tells me that Gail is not in sales does not understand what commercial art is. She has a job to sell herself. She sells herself with her talent in writing, and people that don't understand sales. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it's because people don't get it. You are not the only person on this team. There is a writer, an editor, an artist. There's an assistant editor. There's a printer. There's an executive editor that has to look over it. There's a whole team of people that is relying on you to shut your mouth and be nice to the customer. And you can't understand it. So this goes on, and eventually it leads to the guy blocking me because, you know, he can't handle it. He goes back and deletes all the text messages, and then he gives a backhanded apology to Gail Simone, while at the same time trying to insult the fans. He says, "Gail Simone, I want to apologize for arguing on your staff before. I let the other boys bait me, and I should have grown up and stopped. I will endeavor to be better in the future." That sounds like some kind of apology written up that you're giving the principal because you just like stole the school mascot. Who says the word endeavor to be and then to be better in the future? And then he goes on to say, right here, here's another one. These dickheads on Twitter are baiting you. They're actually trying to get you mad enough to argue with them. Actually, no. We were talking to Gail Simone about bad customer relations, and then you got so triggered that you had to comment on it, and then you got embarrassed and had to block me and then delete your tweets. They will misconstrue things, make things up, and even spell things badly to get you to continue arguing. See, that's another tactic by SJWs, and I love calling them out on the same things over and over and over. They will dehumanize you. They will call you out on grammar. They will try to talk to you in questions while they already know the answer to their questions, but they'll talk to you in questions. And it says, "Don't fall for it, Neil. Just block them and move on." So now he's talking to himself in third person, trying to justify his actions. This is a sociopath. This is a person that is an SJW to a T. And this is people that do not need to be in this industry and need to F off. Okay, they're not buying books because I called him out and said, "You're not buying books. You're not in sales." He goes, "I buy books. I buy books." Okay, so when I went to your feed and scrolled down like 30 to 40 text messages or 30 to 40 tweets, I didn't say anything about comic books, but I did see anti-Trump tweets. Whoa! Shocking, shocking. Spoiler alert, he's anti-Trump. These people cannot handle themselves. They cannot not talk about politics. Everything is politics, no escapism, and we're going to shove it down your throat, and if you don't like it, you're a racist bigot that doesn't want to buy my book, and you don't need to buy my book because it's not made for you. Wow. That's pretty much in a nutshell, and that's why these people don't need to be here. I'm really surprised, though, that Gail Simone has not blocked me. I think that she honestly, she doesn't care. That's kind of Gail Simone's behavior. That's why she was fired the first time, is because she couldn't meet her deadlines half the time. And so she's just there. You know, she's just collecting that check, and then, you know, if it gets canceled, it gets canceled, and they'll just put her on something else because she's like the office mama. But that's pretty much all I got to say. People don't understand sales. They need to take a business class. They need to understand customer relations. People like John Malin, Scott Snyder, Tom King, Sean Gordon Murphy, Greg Capullo, Ethan Van Sciver, Brett Booth, Jason Fobick. People like those understand customer relations. It's not hard, people. If somebody says something mean to you and it hurts your feelings, don't answer it. Or if they said something, this is what they really get upset about. If they said something criticizing your work, ask them how you can do better next time. That's all you have to say. It's not rocket science, people. It's business. But alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I just had to do this little video. I'm going to be doing another book, another Alterna book later. It's called The Wicked Righteous. It's a 1 in 6 issue limited series. So I'm going to talk about that later. But alright guys, see you later. Underground Geek out.